why you should never, ever listen to economists. Let's break this down and let's go to the studio.
All of these economists with 160 IQs that spend their life studying it, can you name me one super wealthy economist that's ever made money out of securities? You know, I mean, just go down the list. No, Keynes actually, in his early years, tried to make money in stocks by predicting what business would do, and he gave it up. And then he went over to a Graham-type approach. I mean, it's very interesting to read his history on this, because he thought he could, by looking at various economic variables, pick what he called the credit cycle and make a lot of money. And he went broke a couple of times in doing it, had to borrow from people. And then he settled on buying good businesses cheap that he understood and concentrating his investments. And he did very well. It's an interesting history. But if you look at the whole history of them, you know, they don't make a lot of money buying and selling stocks, but people who buy and sell stocks listen to them, which is, I have a little trouble with that.
Listening to economists, especially if you are a Tesla investor, probably not a very good idea. I will share with you who I listen to, and that really helped me get to a net worth of over $10 million in my early 20s. And it's all based on two main criteria. Number one, what is your wealth when adjusted for age? And number two, how many times have you replicated your success and in how many different industries? So wealth adjusted for age, if you are 20 years old, I want to see at least 1 million. 30 years old, at least 10 million. 40 years old, 40 or 50 million. If you're 50 years old, I want to see 200. If you are 60 years old, I want to see 500 million. And if you are 70, I want you to be a billionaire. Otherwise, I will not listen to you. I might hear you, but I will just not accept what you're saying as the truth just because you said it. Next thing, experience and industries. I want to see that you replicated your success at least 3 times, basically from scratch or an equivalent of that. And preferably in multiple different industries. And I really want you to have experience in at least 3 different industries. Now, that's not the best formula to make money. The best formula to make money is just to stay in one industry and dominate that. But if you are going to listen to someone about making money, investing, you want that person to have experience in different industries, because here's why. When I was involved in manufacturing, which is my first thing that I did, my thinking was very limited. I would ask people who worked around me, with me, hey, is it possible to make money online? And they would say, it's all a scam, Matt. Forget about it. It's not for us. Just don't worry about it. Manufacturing, this is the real business. This is where the money is. All online stuff, it's just all a scam. Forget about it. And then, of course, having heard that, I went straight into marketing and e-commerce, and that worked out pretty well. And then I went into real estate, and then I went into healthcare. So these are very different things. If you only listen to someone who spent all their lives in one industry, the thing that you will get, and I've seen this one multiple times. Let's say someone is in marketing, and you will start hearing some weird things, which if you turn off your brain and if you just listen to them, they're gonna sound genius. But you turn your brain back on, and then you hear that everything is about marketing, you know, then you go on a date, it's all about marketing. When you have breakfast, it's all about marketing. Health is all about marketing. You see, you have to market to your brain that you are healthy. And most importantly, when you go to the washroom and you feel constipated, it's because you did not market hard enough. It all comes down to marketing somehow. So that's a problem with people when you listen to them. If they only have experience in just one industry, even if they have the net worth adjusted for age that looks really attractive. So I don't really listen to those people for everything. I just listen to what they have to say about their industry, and anything else they say, I close my ears and I go, no, 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 la, 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 whatever you say, I don't hear and I don't want to hear it. So that's the approach that I use. And it has worked so far very, very well. One time I had this acquaintance who met the requirement for the net worth adjusted for age, but then I was suggested this investment, which looked extremely attractive, by the way, and I thought, am I dumb for not investing all my money in it? And it sounded like it made total sense. I did not fully understand it, which is why I did not invest in it. And more importantly, that person did not meet all the criteria for how many times that person replicated their success. It was only one time. And if I would have invested in that, I would have lost all of my money. So that turned out to be a very smart decision. You see, I want that person to have had success at least 3 times, because one time, it could be just luck. Even if you're worth $1 billion, but if you made all your money from just one thing, maybe it's just luck. I'm pretty sure you will know your thing extremely well, and I will respect you in that area extremely well. But everything else, about anything else you will say, I will question it. I will not accept it as the truth, because it probably is not. So I want the person to have success at least 3 times, because with 2 times, maybe it's luck, maybe it's not. I just don't know. But with 3 times, I'm pretty sure it's not just luck. You must be skillful, you must be thoughtful, you must be hardworking, you must have considered all other possibilities and options, and you did your numbers, and you made some extremely good decisions based on a system that you have. And I want to know that system. What was it that made you so successful? So what I do is I find one person at a time, and I find out every single little thing that they do with their money, with their health, in their life, their relationships. I want to find out, what is your philosophy about life and money? Most importantly, money. If I'm learning about money, I want to learn about money. So I listen to everything that one person has to say about everything. And more importantly, I don't just blindly copy. I want to know the reasons. Why are you doing what you're doing? What's the reasoning behind it? And I want to take away that reasoning and then apply that to my life, which worked out very well. And for me, I want to be a billionaire. So I look at advice specifically that could get me to that point. If I just diversify, when I look at billionaires, let's take a look at some richest people in the world, top 100. Let's just pick some of them. Okay, Elon Musk, obviously. He made his money from Zip too. Then he put that into PayPal. Then he put that into SpaceX and Tesla. So he always concentrated his wealth into what he was doing. Usually it's for their own businesses. Then we take Jeff Bezos, Amazon. Now he started as an investment banker. He made some money there, but he raised money to start Amazon. And then he put all his money and kept all his money in Amazon for the longest time. Then we look at, let's say, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook. When we look at Bill Gates, Microsoft, at least initially. That's where it all came from. And then he diversified after that. Steve Ballmer, Microsoft also. When we look at some of the other people, like for example, one of the richest people that ever lived in North America, USA, Sam Walton, he started Walmart. And you look at the top 100 richest people, and you will see many Waltons on that list, multiple. If he was still alive, he might as well be the richest man alive. And so how did he do it? How did all these people become so rich? They concentrated their investments. And usually it's their own business, but not always. Like for example, Warren Buffett, he owns Berkshire Hathaway, you could say. He only owns that company, but within that company, he owns many other companies. He concentrates his investments in a way. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I like Tesla stock so much, because I see a stock that could go to $10,000 per share by 2030. And let's put a chance of that happening 50%. Definitely not 100%. Nothing is 100%. Let's say it's only 50%. And let's say there's a 10% chance of a stock going down to zero. And then in between, there's all other possibilities. So I look at this risk and reward. And for my age, you have to do calculations for your age and first you have to plug in your own numbers that you think are factual or correct. Maybe 50% and 10%, these are not correct for you. So you just plug in your own numbers and then you do your own math. And then you have to figure out how much of a return is equal to your investment going down to zero. Now, for me personally, the investment would have to triple in 10 years for me to think that it's the same. It's just as good as it is bad if it goes to zero. So 3x. With Tesla, we have 10x possibility. And that's a 50% chance, let's say, but only a 10% severe downside. So I look at the numbers and I look at billionaires and I see that they concentrated their wealth and there's not even 3,000 of them. So the way they all do it is by concentrating their wealth. Now, on the way up, I'm 26, so even if I lose all my money in Tesla, I still have my private businesses, I still have real estate, I will be fine, and then I'll just find the next thing that has that same risk to reward ratio, and if I do that enough times, eventually it will work out. You just need to find those very good investments, which, when you find those investments, you will have to go against the crowd, because no one will believe that's possible. I mean, Jeff Bezos was ridiculed when he started Amazon. Same with Elon Musk. He's still very ridiculed in many ways. It's still so funny to watch the media talk about Tesla. So much fake news. Unbelievable. So this is who I listen to. It doesn't mean that I don't listen to anyone else. It doesn't mean that if someone does not meet that criteria of net worth adjusted for age and having experience in multiple other industries, it doesn't mean you should not listen to them at all. What I'm saying is, if someone meets that criteria, I can almost accept what they say as the truth, if I know that they don't have some hidden agenda, which is a whole entire different thing. But if you think you can trust that person, then I would accept that as the truth. If you are still in the process of making a lot of money. If you already made your money, then you are probably the best person to listen to for yourself. But if you're still coming up and you're trying to make a lot of money, this, I think, is this, at least for me, it really accelerated everything that I did, because I did not have to wonder, oh, people are saying this, but when we hear on this side, they say the opposite. Like, I hear some people, you got to read books. You got to read a lot of books, like one book a day. And then you have other people that say, oh, no, it's all just about doing and working hard. And then it's all about working smart. Which one is it? Do you read books? Do you not read books? It's confusing. That's if you listen to multiple different people at the same time. But you find that one person and you could have an opinion where, oh, you gotta read 10 books a month, let's say. Okay, well, why? Well, that's because that's the fastest way to learn, supposedly. And then you might as well find someone else who says you should read no books at all. And they may also meet the net worth criteria adjusted for age and the experience, and they might give an entirely different reason that, hey, look, it's just about what's the best way for you to learn. I learned by doing. So I read almost no books. So maybe you should not read books, but you should really look at how do you learn? Do you really learn well by doing? So when you have that reasoning, it all comes together much easier. There's just less confusion. For example, for me, I learned pretty well from books. So I read well over 1,000 books. But not everyone should do it. Definitely not everyone. I just happen to do well at school and reading and books is something that I enjoyed and that came easy to me. And it seems to be hard for other people, not for me. So I leaned into that, and that worked out well for me. And that came from listening to, and by the way, one of my mentors, he said, don't read any books. But the reasoning behind that was, that's a faster way to learn. At least for him, it was true. For me, you see, I went into his reasoning. Why did he say that? And I didn't just take, oh, this is what you said, and therefore I will do that. I looked into the reasoning, and then I applied that reasoning to my own life. So that's how you really want to listen to people. You want to know, why are they saying that? So just don't just take what they say as the truth, but I would take their reasoning as the real truth, if they meet that criteria. If you haven't seen the 1 hour video, or 1 hour drive, no interventions, it's sped up to just 10 minutes long, so it's easy to watch. Full self-driving, no interventions, 1 hour. If you haven't seen that, you gotta watch that. It's on my channel. If you're not convinced about Tesla stock, that one may change your mind. And if you haven't seen why Tesla bought Optimus Prime is already possible, proof why it's already possible, you should watch that one as well. It's a pretty good video. My name is Matt Postis. I'm a serial millionaire, entrepreneur, and investor. Hope you enjoyed this video. Click my like button if you haven't yet. If you enjoyed this video, that helps to reach more people on YouTube and helps this video do better. Thank you for watching.